to SimRacing Unlimited. I'm Yannik, live from the ADAC SimRacing Expo 2022, and as you can see, we've got a quite prominent guest, I'd say. Welcome, Mr. Tony Kanaan.
Thank you, pleasure to be here.
Yeah, glad you found the time. You're here with Gomez Sim Industries. First time at the Expo, right?
Yeah, last year I loved it, not to Nürburgring, but I was racing in real life that weekend, so my first time, having a great time. It's awesome to meet some people that I only met online for a couple of years. Now I get a chance to see them.
Yeah, I mean, we're very happy with how the whole venue turned out. First time in Nuremberg, obviously. So what was your first impression going over through the event?
I mean, it's amazing how tight the community is. I mean, having the chance to try a lot of the products that are coming out, or that sometimes you just don't have a chance to do it. Meeting a lot of the builders and the people that actually they stay behind the scenes and you only talk over the phone or through an email, seeing their new products, their launches. It's great. I think it's a great opportunity for a streamer, for an e-racer, for a fan, for anything to be able to participate in. I'm having a blast.
Yeah, glad to hear that. Which of these categories would you sort yourself that you just mentioned?
I think I'm a little bit of all of it, right? I mean, I'm a professional race car driver. That's what I do for a living. But since the pandemic, my passion for sim racing has grown a lot. Obviously, simulators being part of my entire life since we started to build them, because as a race car driver, that's what we do well. So the teams are really into it. Obviously, this industry and the teams are actually have switched to some sort of sim racing to use in real life as well in the past 8 years. Has evolved and grown a lot. So I'm a little bit of everything. Obviously, I stream every day. I have an e-race, an esports team.
Right.
I race myself.
So yeah, perfect. I was about to say best of both worlds, but it's really just best of like all of the worlds.
Right.
Yeah, you mentioned professional race car driver. Forgot to mention in the intro, Indycar champion and Indy 500 champion, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
Yeah. So pleasure to meet you here. So let's dive into those sim racing beginnings a little bit, because obviously you started racing when sim racing
Didn't exist.
Yeah,
It was
exactly.
video games at the time.
Yeah, exactly. That was still that video game moniker. When did you get in touch with proper sim racing?
I think when iRacing got launched,
Okay.
I think it was 2007. Yeah. And I remember because the first track I drove was Barber Motorsports Park, which obviously is part of the Indycar schedule, and I was really impressed. So since then on and off, not as much as we do now. Now I do it every day.
Yeah.
You know, it was cool. We had a Logitech G29 and I would play, and once my friends came over, but it wasn't like, oh, let's go racing. I wasn't doing that very seriously. We had friends that kept doing it. But then the pandemic obviously hit. 3 years ago, the team started actually using us a lot. Like Honda, I raced for Honda my entire career. Then I switched to Chevy, and they both of those manufacturers have their own Indycar simulators. They're like completely, it's a $4 million simulator. Try to, tire models, we play with everything. Like we have a full team just to take care of the sim side. We have some e-drivers that actually over the race weekend, they're doing live sessions to send us some information as well. So I would say serious 3 years ago I started it. Now I'm on a sim every day.
Yeah. Well, that's. I think that's the story for a lot of people in the last few years. So glad to see.
I used to say the pandemic was a really bad thing for the world. But if you take a positive thing that happened out of a negative, huge, impact, we had no sim racing.
Yeah, very much so.
100%.
Look at the place. That's all the info you need, I think.
I don't really think if the pandemic had grown this fast.
Yeah, true. I think the pros doing it live on TV.
I mean, we did 3 IndyCar races during the pandemic that was broadcast on live TV.
Yeah, watch those.
So I mean that tells you right away that it was extremely beneficial.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously had a very I wouldn't say colorful, but very diverse career. You've raced Indy cars, you've raced sports cars, so a lot of cool cars in your career. Do you have a favorite virtual world that you drove in real life as well? Like what was closest to that?
I mean, obviously, the IndyCar is pretty close, but it's really close to my heart because I helped develop the car with iRacing.
Yeah.
So I was able to, with some data and my feedback, that's a fun car to drive. I love the GT categories. I mean, that's what I do the most, although I'm an IndyCar driver. But I would say my all-time favorite car, I still gotta pick the F1 car.
The current one?
The current one.
Yeah.
Mercedes. But if you go back, like, honestly, if I had to pick an all-time favorite, and you go back to my generation, I would go to the old DTM cars.
DTM cars, like early 90s?
The early 90s.
Yeah, those are
Audis and the Calibras.
Yeah, those are super fun. How about in real life, though?
In real life, I've driven so many cool cars that I think would not be fair to just pick one, right? I mean, the Indy cars are fun. I test drive F1 cars a few times. I drove an LMP1, an LMP2. We won the 12 hours of Sebring. I drove the 4GT. I mean, I don't think I can. I drove the Opel Calibra DTM back in the days in Interlagos. I raced for them. So, although you asked, so I'm not gonna. I'll pick one just because. But I would say the DTM with the dynamic suspension, the automatic upshifts and downshifts. I mean, going down the straightaway, you could actually program the downshifts for the next corner, and you didn't have to downshift. We had an active suspension that I could change the diff on the steering wheel, so those cars were great.
Those are crazy. I've seen them race in like classic events too. They're
so that will be for sure for me the all-time.
Okay, yeah, sure. Obviously I'm a little bit biased in that regard because you probably won't know what I told viewers over and over. I love late 90s champ cars.
Yes.
These things were rockets.
So, out of the open wheel, to me that is the ultimate 240 miles an hour, top speed 400 kilometers for people, and those cars, the Lola 2000, like late 90s, like from 98 to 2002, probably that's the most fun part of my career in IndyCar, and I've been doing it for 25 years.
Yeah, you've been part of the game for quite a while. Yeah, that's true. Have you ever tried one of those in the simulator though?
No, I have not, because I mainly do iRacing, but I know other platforms.
Yeah, Brazilian developer.
The Automobilista does.
Exactly,
so actually, good thing to. I'm going to try that. I'm going to do a stream about it.
Nice.
Keep an eye on it.
Spoiler alert there.
Yeah, here we go. Right here, exclusive.
There you go. So I assume you do all kinds of racing in iRacing. I watch a few of those, of course, but you've had a certain versatility in real life, so I think that helps in the simulator as well, doesn't it?
Big time, and I think it correlates, real life to sim and sim to real life, because in the past in real life I really didn't like to drive 3 different cars a year because it will take your mind. So you go from an Indycar to a 4GT.
Right.
So basically, the year that we did Le Mans, I left Indianapolis after the Indy 500 to come here to the rookie test on the 4GT 2 days later. It took a little bit to adjust. It was probably more in my mind, but now in December, I drive 10 cars in one day.
Right.
So that actually, it took my mind off that myth that I shouldn't be doing that. And nowadays, since I'm not doing a full IndyCar season, I've been driving 4 different cars a year in real life.
Yeah.
I did IndyCar, I did Stock Car, I did the Porsche Cup, and the SRX, which is a series in America that we do almost only with Tony Stewart.
Oh yeah.
So kind of like a NASCAR.
Yeah.
So it helped me a lot.
Yeah.
So it's definitely something that actually I have to say I have to give credit to SimRacing to stuff is so easy, right? You say, yeah, I want to drive a Porsche now, I want to drive a BMW, I want to drive an LP, I want to drive an F1.
Yeah.
You just switch cars.
You can do anything, even
Correct.
historical stuff. It's great. So obviously, you know that you good to hear. On the other hand, when you first got into sim racing, do you think your real experience helped you in from a competition mindset maybe?
On the competition side, 100%. I think sim racing is still, there's still room to be improved, to be able for me to say it's really close to real racing. I mean, graphic-wise, racetracks are perfect. Physics, we're still a little bit trying to get there, but when I talk about that, it's not actually a negative thing. What people need to understand sometimes is manufacturers, teams, they're not going to give you all the data because that's top secret. That's why we hire people, make people sign contracts. So physics are not there because I think the real world doesn't want to allow. Manufacturers want to protect their product because they spend a lot of money developing a car. You don't want the competition to come. So on that matter, I think physics. So for me, the biggest thing was to adapt from real life to sim racing because it is not black and white.
Yeah.
You know, and in real life you have G-forces, so you brake, your body goes forward. So the brake pressure, the modulation of the brake pressure, it's different. So for me, it took me a little bit more to adapt. But then I saw owning an esports team. I took a couple of my top esports drivers. I mean, I have a Brazilian guy called Gustavo Ariel. People that know the community, he's a 10K rating. I put him in a real car, on a two-seater stock car.
Right.
And I see the same difficulties I had when I did the opposite.
Okay.
So that is a little bit of a difference.
Yeah.
Obviously, the new generation, Max Verstappen, Bruno Spengler, they're good at both.
Yeah.
Because they were born doing sim racing. I did not. I play video games on the joystick because I'm not that young.
Yeah.
So for me, it was a little bit far. So it is not black and white.
Yeah.
You have to adapt, but both ways, from sim to real race and from real racing to sim.
Yeah. Interesting insight because we tend to cover the other way around a lot these days with new sim racing pros going to real race cars, but the other way around is not so frequent. So
Right.
That's,
and that's me. I mean, I'm not speaking of generally all the drivers, but it took me a while to understand that no, your muscle memory is different.
Right.
The modulation of the brake is different. You don't have the sensation. We say the race car you feel in your bottom.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't feel anything if you don't have motion. I don't think they're quite there yet either.
It's good, but not quite.
Right, but it's hard because you try to explain to an engineer that probably hasn't driven a race car what you want, and the engineer is trying to reciprocate what you're trying to. So those kind of things. And thank God there's still room to develop because otherwise we would just be saying, we have a perfect product.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right. That's
right.
The line under it. That's a good part about this year too. I think you can see what's happening even with hardware already, of course.
100%. I mean, and you see more and more cross, race teams getting involved with sim racing because they see the benefit. But then the sim community gets the benefit to get. You have a wheel like a Mercedes wheel. You have a BMW wheel that is actually the actual race car. So eventually you just have a wheel. We just, we're here with Gomez. We have a wheel that we developed. But then Simcore is it's an Australian company that actually they built my Indy. I gave them one of my Indycar actual wheel, and we built, and it's coming out soon. You guys can check it out. It's there. They're right behind us. That's what I'm pointing. But so that's the benefit that community gets. Now all of a sudden, you having the wheel that I drive my Indycar at your house.
That's a few years ago. That would have been unthinkable. Really.
Right, and then you go, they call us a pain because race car drivers go, look, this button is not good enough. Which in the past, the sim racer just got, if you press the button, that worked. We didn't know any better.
Don't mind.
So, and this is actually improving the community big time.
Right, so you mentioned hardware, brake modulation, stuff like that, and there's this ever-present debate on how stiff you should set your brake pedal. What is
This
realistic?
is such a myth because to me, why real racing you need a stiff pedal? It's because when you come, let's pick an average speed of a GT F1 and an Indycar. Let's make it at 220 kilometers. You do kilometers? Or let's say 240 kilometers an hour to a hairpin that is 35 miles an hour.
Right.
To slow down, you have the G-force. Your body's moving forward. If you have a softer pedal, when your body weight moves forward, it's just gonna brake. If you don't have ABS, you lock. If you have ABS, you're gonna hit it right away. So you need a stiff pedal. Not because you want to be, because I'm strong. It's because when the force moves your body forward, you actually just, you're holding yourself on the brake pedal. That's pretty much what happens. That's why every race car driver says you need a stiff pedal. On sim racing, I found that it's completely the opposite for me. I started it, I went 100%. I could barely. And what kept happening is, the stiffer I went, the less modulation and feel I had. So the slower I went, because it was locking too much, getting too much ABS. Some of the sims are extremely particular as far as if you use too much ABS, actually they don't stop. The car will. So I started to go softer and softer. So right now, for an average sim racer, let's say I started at 100%. The stiffest the pedal could go. I'm gonna use the valve because as an example because that's what I use.
Okay.
I'm at 45% force. And travel a lot because then I can actually, it's locking, so I can trail brake. The stiffer you go, the less trail you can do because you don't have that modulation. And that's me, guys. I'm not trying to teach anybody. Please, sim racers, keep doing what you do because you guys are a lot better than me. But the myth was because we tried to say sim racing is exactly the same as real racing. And unfortunately, like we just talked, it's not. It's getting there, but until you can build a sim that actually gives you 2 or 3 G's of the braking that's going to push your body forward, you cannot simulate the same stiffness on the pedal because physically you're not going to be strong enough to put 1,000 pounds on the braking, which we do in Indycar. On a hard braking zone, 900 some pounds. You can't do it.
So that's what would that be in kilograms? I think like 450 or something like that.
Correct, almost 500 kilos. Try to do that. You can once. Try to do a 3-hour race. You have no legs.
You need legs.
You have
like
no
that.
legs left.
How do you fit in the cockpit with legs like that?
Correct.
So there you have it. The definitive answer on the brake pedal stiffness in your rig is it depends.
But and again, I'm not preaching. I'm just giving my feedback. If it helps, I tell anybody that comes on my stream and says because let's pick the race car driver because he knows, guys, your brake pedal, your direct drive, your wheel, they're all particular to you. Whatever makes you feel good. A lot of people says, Tony, what do you use as a profile? I said, here's my profile. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And then when you talk about products, you see kids giving me 3 seconds quicker a lap than me on a Logitech G29. And I have a full CMQ Gomez. So equipment also it's what you get used to. And on race cars, we're spoiled because my wheel, I built my wheel, my butt any way I want because it's my cockpit is my office. My throttle, I say it's too soft. I need a stiffer spring. My brakes, I said I don't have enough travel. And somebody, Scott Dixon, my teammate, would jump in my car. Says I don't like that pedal. I need a different wheel. So it's custom. It's customized to you. So don't follow what the community is saying just because the community is saying. Not necessarily. The products are all good if you adapt to them.
Yeah, for sure. So try what feels good to you, but don't expect any like 2 or 3 second gains just because it's.
I have it. I have the most expensive stuff because I'm just crazy about it, and I'm still slow.
Yeah, there you go. Not in real life, though, of course. So.
Well, that's what my real job is. As long as I'm not slow in real life, I'm fine.
I was about to say, So, like we mentioned earlier, you've raced a ton of cool cars. Is there anything left in your career that you still really, really want to do?
Well, every year technology keeps the manufacturers keep building new cars. Now we have the hypercars, right? So I think I've done every single race that I wanted to do that is out there. The Mans, Daytona, we won Daytona 24, Sebring, Indy 500. I hadn't raced in Formula 1, now it's too late. So, but I've driven test Formula 1 cars. But I love racing, so it's not a fair question for you to ask me because I will drive anything.
Okay.
At this point of my career, probably I would say when I started racing, my aspiration was to race Formula 1. I came to Europe to try and play in the States. The only thing I didn't do was actually do a real, actual Formula 1 race. If I had to pick one, I would pick Monaco, of course, like everybody else. Yeah. But no, I have no. I would drive anything, but I can't say. I'm very fortunate. I've been racing for 40 years.
Yeah.
Starting go-karts. I'll be 48 in December, and I'm being extremely lucky to be driven so many cool cars.
Yeah, quite the career, and I don't think there's any better ending point than that. So, Tony, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy the rest of your stay at SimRacing Expo 2022, and
I'll see you guys in the virtual world.
Exactly.